very active, to be very happy, to basically go and see a movie, go and see a Broadway play. Whatever makes you happy, go ahead and do it. She absolutely would not care about basically her health. Her health basically, I don't care if I'm going to basically speed up my death. I just want to live the life I have. And you know what? I felt that that's exactly how she wanted to live, and she got to go out on her own terms, which I'm very happy for. And I hope you're all happy for her too, that she basically got to live the life she wanted. And when it came time, she basically just said, "Okay." I'm very happy for her. Hopefully, she in the next life or in the afterlife that she is still happy. She's still active. She's hopefully calling afterlife people from the driveway. I don't know how that works. I don't know how phones work in the afterlife, but she'll find out. Overall, I'm thankful for you, Diane Ziet. I'm glad that you lived. You touched my life so amazingly. And just thank you. I will hopefully, now that you basically have said so many things to me, I see where you are coming from. Hopefully, I will hopefully be able to live for you. You lived for me, now I'll live for you. Thank you all.
I would like to call down Carol Anderson, please. Just for kind.
My very best friend has passed away. There are no words that I can say to express how truly sad I feel. A world without Diane for me is unreal. I counted on her in every way to be there to support me every day. Our families are very close, as you can see, and that's the way it will always be. Holiday dinners were special and great. It didn't matter what we ate. As long as her brisket was part of the deal, it would be a perfect meal. We had many great times and wonderful trips. So it is so hard for me to come to grips that you won't be here to do things with me. I'm sure going to miss you, Dee. You lived life on your terms as only you could, and you wanted to leave when it was no longer good. So rest in peace. I love you so. It was time for you to go. Close to my heart, you'll always be. We're sisters forever, you and me.
I would like to call down Phyllis Eisner, please.
Diane and I have been friends for over 45 years. We live in the same building, she on the third floor, me on the first. I have so many wonderful memories of our friendship over the last 45 years. The canasta games we played on the third floor in our nightgowns till 2 in the morning. Our many trips to Florida to visit my sister, and all the fun and laughs we had. On one trip, Diane was on a quest to find cows. Pictures, trinkets, whatever, we had to find cows because her daughter-in-law, Kathy, liked cows. Diane was always there for me. When I went through some traumatic changes in my life, Diane was by my side. I could call her anytime, and she would talk to me on the phone for as long as I needed. If I needed her to come to my apartment just to talk, she would drop whatever she was doing and be downstairs within 5 minutes. We had a slow elevator. As sick as Diane was, she always offered to take me to doctor's appointments or for medical tests. She would rearrange her schedule by taking a vacation day or changing her day off, whatever it took if I needed her. I never had to ask her. She only volunteered. She volunteered, called me several times each time I had an appointment. That, to me, is what true friendship is. Diane was a very special lady with a heart of gold, and I'm so glad she was part of my life. There is a special place in my heart for Diane, and I will miss her terribly.
I would like now to call on Father Fred, please.
On Diane's birthday on May 19th, I sent her a card that said, "A special girlfriend is the sister you never had." That was how I always thought of Diane, the sister I never had. I was blessed to have her in my life for so long. We shared lots of joy and sorrow and happy times over the years, and we would talk about our grandchildren and what they were doing in their lives constantly. I want to say thank you, Diane, for always being there for me. I knew that at any time, day or night, I could pick up the phone and she would be right there for me. I would also like to tell all of you here today about a fun time that Diane and I shared each week. We had what we called our guilty pleasure. We would watch a TV program every Monday night that some of you might know, called The Bachelorette. And then make lists of the guys who were hot and should get picked to get the girl at the end of the season. We spoke to each other every few minutes, on and off for 2 hours, while making these important choices, or so we thought. We would laugh and say to each other that we were probably the only two ladies over 70 on the planet that did this. So I guess that I will have to go on with my life without my special friend, my sister Diane, and hope that one day we will be able to laugh together when we once again share our guilty pleasure on the big TV in the sky, if there is one, and maybe to see some movies like we did every Saturday afternoon with our friends. So I want to just say goodbye for now, and I will miss you every day, and I love you very, very much. Thank you.
Before I get started, two people actually gave me something to read on their behalf. Marilyn, I know Greg, you want to come up first and read what you have to say, Greg? Come on. You can come up. Come on. The problem is everybody wants to say something, and there's just too many of you to do that. So we're going to have just a few, and then I'll finish off. I haven't seen Greg in so long. Right,
Let's see if I can get through this. My mom, Marilyn, asked me to speak for her today. Probably my mom and my second mom, excuse me,
Take your time.
Diane, was the most supportive, loving, good-natured, and special people in my life. I can't even imagine how my mom feels. I could just tell you it was fate, how two people could have such a bond, a friendship, and an unconditional love. 50 years, their friendship grew, good, bad, sad, and happy. I can't imagine what is going through my mother's thoughts, other than the loss of her closest, dearest friend, her sister. Who will she talk to now? who will be there on those endless phone conversations. We were blessed just a few weeks ago. My Donald got to spend Mother's Day with Diane and my mother. And then we surprised Diane. I flew to Florida to celebrate her 75th birthday with her. Just as she did that night, her night, like every other night that I saw her, she said, "Oh, my little Greggy, I love you. I love you so much." One of the special things I will always remember, and Diane spoke of often, was the orange juice container made out of 2 plastic oranges and a green leaf top. Diane would say it was one of her favorite memories of me. And when Nanny Littlejoy gave it to me, how excited I was. Another was how Diane and my mother used to tell anyone or everyone who never heard it a story about how a stranger at the beach club brought me back to them after wandering off and could not believe that a baby, me, could talk. Even today, I don't know why they liked that story so much. Diane used to say, I was so small and talked so much. You always amaze me. Your energy, always doing, planning, and then doing more. Sometimes my mom could not even keep up with you. Diane, your little Greggy loved you so much. I know my mom did. We are all going to miss you so much. Thank you for being you. The world was a better place because of you, because you always made it that way.
Okay. And I know, Gabby, do you want to come up and say something, sweetheart? You want to read this? Okay, come on. There's no rules here today, Gabby. Diane never followed the rules anyway.
Okay, dearest Richie, Phyllis, family, and friends. At a time like this, there are so many thoughts going through my head, yet I find myself so welt up with emotions that it is difficult for me to express them. Words alone cannot express the pain and loss that I am feeling at the passing of my dear buddy, Diane. There is a large void in my heart. Although she was an extra special good friend to me, she in truth was more like a sister, mother, advisor, and so much more. Always worrying about me and others, giving herself so warmly, a big smile on her face, even when she did not feel up to par, was one of her trademarks. But above all, her genuine caring and wanting me to be included in her immediate family and circle of friends was of great importance to me. And indeed, she did make me, Chaim, and Jeffrey an integral part of her life, something for which I will forever be grateful. And to think that this all blossomed from her seeing me sitting on the express bus in the morning and asking me if I wanted to go with her to Stay Slim. Perhaps the dieting was not always successful, but our friendship certainly was. A true statement of her undying love and caring was her straightforwardness when she had an opinion about how I was handling certain situations. I did not always agree with her, but we respected one another, and in all the years of our friendship, we never had a rift. We would laugh at the silliest things, and I will never forget our special times down in Florida with Marilyn and her nicknaming me the Schlepper. We were once on our way to the indoor flea market, and because of a wrong turn direction that Marilyn had written down for us, we found ourselves going in circles over and over again. And she would say, "You are such a ditz. Can't you even follow written directions?" We laughed and laughed until we almost peed in our pants. Or how we would be the only ones by the pool, sitting on the awning while the rain was teeming down. We didn't care what anyone thought of us. We were happy just being together and doing the simple things that made us content. These memories are implanted in my brain. Funny how the small things are not forgotten. Diane had a heart of gold and always wanted to share her children's and grandchildren's accomplishment. I felt so blessed that she made me a part of those happy memories. I may not be the most religious Jew out there, but my love and respect for our Jewish traditions and heritage was something that Diane respected about me and gave us a special bond. She always knew she could ask me a question when it came to a Jewish holiday. When she wanted to experience what she called a real Seder, I did not think twice in having her and your dad to one of ours. She was crazy about Chaim's special mini steak and my meatballs. I often made an extra batch just for her. Diane, the epitome of a wonderful mother, grandmother, sister-in-law, friend, buddy, and yet so much more. You will be sorely missed, but all your endearing qualities will live on in our hearts forever. I am sure that you are the brightest star in the sky, shining down on us and watching over us. May our loving memories of you give us the strength to continue our lives. You will never be forgotten. With love, admiration, and deep sadness that a life ended too soon. Your true friend for eternity, Gabby.
Everybody has such great things to say about her, and I appreciate all of you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Diane, but I'm also going to talk about you people. First, a little bit about Diane. This is her cell phone. This thing is trouble. About a month ago, I took her to get this new cell phone because she wanted to text more, so she could text with the girls in her office. I'm glad she got it, but it was a big mistake for me. Came with a pamphlet. It says, "Get to know your phone." This pamphlet looks like it's been through the war. I don't know what she did, but Diane, good for you that I think at the end she started texting, and I know a couple of the girls in the office had some interesting texts with her, so thank you guys for that. The other thing that happened recently with Diane had to do with food. Diane was not a cook, but she loved food, and she loved restaurants, and she loved to send food back at restaurants. And we were in the hospital, and she got her lunch delivered. I was there, and she opened it up, and she said, "This is not what I ordered." And I knew she was okay at that point in time. But I think the most unbelievable thing that I've learned about her over the last 3 weeks was that she had 5 families. I didn't know that. They're all represented here today. So we're going to talk about each one of those families. The first family was the family. The Ziet family, the Isaacson family, Phyllis, Mike, Ryan, Benjamin, all the names. And if I forget your name, please, I'm sorry. Kathy, Kevin, Holly, of course, you guys. Carol, Debbie, Lori, Glenn, Doug, the boys, everybody. Normie, Leslie, and the kids. And the other part of the family that I don't want to forget are the people that we've lost. Alan and Harry and Marion. And of course, Mark, Orbitman, and Lillian and Philip, her parents. I'm okay, Kevin. I'm good. It's okay. It's okay. Also, there was a lot of emails and cards, so I tried to pick 1 or 2 or 3 from each of the families. So from the family, Stanley Lenkowski wrote to me, "So sorry to hear this news, Richard. My big cousin, I remember your parents' engagement party, and now they're both gone. Sleep well, my lovely cousin." Thank you, Stanley. The second family was the Friends family. And that one I don't even have to explain because you guys have just seen that, everybody coming up. But it's not just all the girls from the neighborhood, you know, Barbara, Marilyn, Phyllis Eisner, Gabby, and Chaim, Lucy, Irene, if you're watching.